Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So the Russian reaction came overnight on the 27th to 28th of November 2024. Huge, massive Russian missile and drone attack on Ukraine occurred. I have here about 5 articles dealing with that, with the consequences, what targets were aimed at, what targets were hit. We're going to have the conscription age probably in Ukraine being lowered. That is from 25, going to 18. As the Russians said, Ukraine will fight until the last Ukrainian. What will happen next? Other baboons will be activated. I'm talking about the Romanians, Baltic states, the Poles, not the Slovaks or the Hungarians. And then you will repopulate Ukrainian women with men, sturdy men, coming from other continents to be Ukrainians. I'm going to go over the reasons why the Russians claim or state they launched this massive attack, and that's not hard to figure out. So let's start with the first article. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda. It is from Thursday, the 28th of November 2024. Russian attack on 28th of November. Ukraine's air defense shot down 79 missiles and 35 drones out of 188 Russian air targets. And as always, they provide the evidence in this form. So you can count them and you say, yes, indeed, Your Honor, the evidence is approved. You can proceed. Russia carried out a large-scale missile and drone attack on, missile first, and drone attack on Ukraine's energy system on the night of 27 to 28 November, with Ukrainian air defense intercepting 76 cruise missiles, 3 air-to-surface missiles, and 35 drones out of a total of 188 Russian targets. So, 3 S-300 air defense missiles launched from Russia's Belgorod Oblast on Ukraine Kyiv Oblast. 57 Kh-101 cruise missiles launched from 2 95 ms strategic bombers from Russia's Volgograd. 28 caliber cruise missiles launched from the Black Sea. Oh my, this is from the submarines and from the vessels, the ships. 3 Kh-5969 air-to-surface missile launched from the airspace over Black Sea. 97 Shahed attack drones and drones of an unidentified type from Kursk, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, Orel, Bryansk, and Milerovo, Russia. So it's 97 drones. They said they down 35. So let's find out how many were disabled or differently abled by the Ukrainian systems, electronic warfare systems. All right, let's see. At 10:30 a.m., these guys confirmed the following air targets have been shot down. 76 caliber Kh-101 cruise missiles. Now, the caliber Kh-101 cruise missiles are a little bit more powerful and longer range than the Scalp missiles and the Storm Shadow missiles. Not bigger than the German one that these guys want to get, and probably they will get it eventually. That's the Taurus missiles. So 76 of these were hit, according to these guys. Then it says 3 Kh air-to-surface missiles, 35 Shahed attack drones and drones of unidentified type, 62 drones lost from radar. So that's what? 97. 97 drones were somehow destroyed or something. All right, what do they tell us here? So 188, 79 missiles and 35 drones. These guys destroyed everything. These guys destroyed everything. If you look at it, I mean, if you go 76, right? It said at the beginning 79. That's already 79 plus what was that? 96, I think, right? So it was 100 and let's say 70 out of 180. So maybe these guys hit 10 targets. I'm just approximately make a approximation here. Russian strike. Ukraine down 79 missiles, 35 drones. So this is the same evidence provided, and the same right here. 62 out of radar, lost from radar 35, so that's what, 97 again, so 97, right? And then we have 79. So that's about what, 176 or something out of 188. All right, you got about 12 that supposedly, I don't know, maybe some of them went to mommy Russia and left and stopped in, what do you call that, Belarus. They say only that the enemy missiles and drone barrage targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure. And it says, Ukraine foreign minister comments on Russian morning attack. Putin does not want peace. No, he doesn't want peace under your terms. He wants peace under his terms. So yeah, you don't want peace under Putin's terms. You want peace under your terms. So whenever someone says these guys don't want peace, or those guys, no, they want peace, but under their terms. That's both ways. Otherwise, you can claim the same thing to the Ukrainians. You don't want peace. Of course, we don't want peace under the Russians' negotiating points. All right, or terms. Let's go and see what these guys hit, or at least targeted. New voice of Ukraine. Russia targets Western Ukraine's energy grid in coordinated air attacks. So I call I call the Ukrainians Western Ukraine. I call it the Polish side of Ukraine. Why? Because the Poles, I think, if the Russians will advance and will be able to take over Ukraine, the Poles will enter Ukraine, NATO will enter Ukraine right here and occupy it with troops as far as they can go and meet the Russians somewhere. I think that's going to be the final outcome if the Russians don't use nuclear weapons. These guys, if the Russians break the front and they achieve, eventually going to go to Kyiv, these guys, I guarantee you, they will enter the territory here, and block them somewhere. Like the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, or part of the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, where Poland was just occupied by the Nazis and by the Soviets. Yes, with those guys in charge. I think it was there were some guys over there that were not Russians in charge, but nevertheless, that's the western part. So let's read further this article and see what they tell us about this. Okay. Yes, I believe the focus here is on destroying energy infrastructure in Western Ukraine. The enemy seems to think that the Western Ukraine is less protected than Kyiv and central regions, which have forced more frequent missile attacks. The Russians lately stopped their attacks somewhere here. Khmelnytsky was the last one right here. And I said, is it because NATO and Russia, maybe they said, you know what, we're going to shoot your missiles down if you come closer, which is, direct engagement. And now it seems like, no, Western Ukraine has experienced fewer large-scale strikes overall. Correct, because you're further, and not only. Now the enemy wants to even the score with one strike. What are you talking about? You have to make a pattern, you imbecile. Launching strikes on Western regions under the assumption that they are less defended, while aiming to cripple the energy infrastructure there. Russia knows how our energy system works, and this is reflected in their strategy. Alright, so let's see what they did here. However, the enemy seems Russian statements which claim through the western, including Lviv and Volyn. Right, those are right here. This area, Lviv, and this area. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to the next article. I think it's going to be clearer. Russian missiles target energy infrastructure in Lviv region, or Lvov. This was reported on Telegram by the head of the The enemy attacked energy infrastructure facilities to be updated. As reported, they struck infrastructure. Hits reported in Lutsk, Volyn region. Missile debris plunged to the ground in 2 Kiev districts. Nothing destroyed over there. So it's Lutsk and Lviv. So this is the Polish part. Now, I would say the Poles won the whole thing here. Why? I tell you why. Easily. I like when there are countries who, when they're strong, they kick everybody in the teeth and when they're weak, they play victims because they lose. And then when they come back a little bit strong, or they think they are stronger, they start again reclaiming territories that they acquired through occupation and invasion when they were strong. So if you look at the Ukrainian-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, in about what, 18th century, 17th century, you're going to find out that that little empire was right here. It got all this part right here. And believe me, these guys want as much as they can. I mean, if you can believe, the Poles also want territories from Germany. They think they didn't get enough after the Second World War. But they will ignore the fact that in the 17th century, 16th century, they invaded a lot of territories. A lot. Why? Because they can. They were able to. So playing the victim here, wanting territories that you took over by occupation, I don't think that's kosher, is it? You know what I mean. All right, so let's go and read another article, which is, again, the New Voice of Ukraine. They say the same thing, but this is attack on Ukraine's energy grid. The same information that I read already, but let's see if they're going to give us anything else here what they struck. Oh, no, that's it. And here we find out that Western weapons did a great job over Kyiv. All drones and missiles targeting Kyiv destroyed. Now, do you believe that? The cat is here, so what do you want? Meow, meow. So do you believe that's possible? It is possible. The problem is it probable? Okay, hello. All right, so is it probable? I don't think so. I don't think so. But in the next video that I will make right after this, I will show you what the Russians said about attacking Kyiv. And not only Kyiv, with what kind of weapons and what kind of intensity or magnitude. Yes, they will use, I'm not going to tell you, next video. Here it is. All right. Let's see if I find anything else. No, they just said that according to the missiles were approaching Kyiv from different directions. As a result, the air battle, all enemy targets that threatened Kyiv were destroyed. So that means by Patriot systems, because they are fantastic. That's what it is. Next one. Why did they do it? Right? Why did the Russians? Because they're evil. Putin says massive bombardment of Ukraine is a response to attack on Russia. Vladimir Putin, Kremlin leader, elected through democratic vote, I know it was rigged, but only we have democracy, stated that Russia's huge strike on Ukraine on the 28th of November was in reaction to strikes on the territory of the Russian Federation. Tonight, I'm quoting, we launched a combined strike using 90 missiles and 100 drones. 17 targets were hit. I repeat, these attacks on our part were in response to persistent attacks on Russian soil with American ATACMS missiles. As I have repeatedly stated, there will be always a response on our part. Putin claims the Russian missiles and drones have hit 117 targets. Okay, well, we'll see. He believes that Russia will respond to strikes with Western long-range weapons, in particular the possible continuation of the combat test of Oreshnik. You got that? That was what I was telling you before. That is, they will use those intercontinental ballistic missiles to hit Kyiv. Well, I know the Patriot... Oh, wait, the Patriot can't intercept those. Oh, well, we'll see. Probably they can, because they tell us. But if you look over their specifications, they can't. Here, Ukrinform. Zelensky's team comments on calls to lower army mobilization age. I didn't read this article, but whatever these guys say, just because they're talking about it, tells me the mountain slope model works, which is they try to get us familiar with the issue. And then little by little they will make the case by picking and choosing and making you feel threatened and afraid, and then you will agree with that. They will tell you that it needs to be done because your values, your family, your lives, your future is at stake, because the Russians will come after you after this. Therefore, they have to make sure that there are no more Ukrainians over there, Ukrainian men. I told you there will be a supply of other men from other continents in Ukraine who will be as Ukrainian as the current Ukrainians. Why? Because we know we're all, all right, that's for a different video. Presidential Communication Advisor, Dmytro Litvin. I have a feeling. This is like the Beatles song. I got the feeling. That's the way. I had a feeling this guy is a Stein. It makes no sense for Ukraine to lower the current military age. But why did it make sense before? Since the country does not receive on time the weapon systems pledged by international partners. You see this? So it's not that it's a moral situation. No, it's a technical issue. It's not, man, we should not use the younger generation because we need the younger generation to have Ukrainians still. Ukrainians stock. You know what I mean? Right? Okay. So no, that's not a problem. The problem is if we can't do it because the weapons are not coming fast enough. So we can't army the big mass of Ukrainians that right now we're using to, okay? That's what it is. But that means, if you go back and look at it differently, that means if those guys supply more weapons, we can do it. So it's doable as long as you send more weapons. So when these guys will send more weapons, these guys can lower the mobilization age. Did you get it? It's nothing about morality or I don't know about fertility rate or Ukrainian nation. No. Send more. We're gonna have these guys go over there. And since you need to do that and lower it, that tells me the stock above 25 to 60 or whatever there is for them. That means you're running low on those ones. You don't change anything unless something goes wrong. You let it go if things work just fine. So lowering, I think it's this. The volunteering guys from the refugees are not coming to Ukraine to fight for Zelensky, Stein, and the interest over there, or against the Russians. That's the first one. The second one, the Ukrainians did not fulfill but 2/3 of the last recruitment they were supposed to. So 2/3. This one said, no, we're not coming. Oh, victory. So that's what it is. And these guys are being decimated on the front. What are you going to do? New blood. And new blood will be the younger generation. Why? Send more weapons. We're going to fix things. And after those guys are done, with the women, I don't know what they're going to do with the women. I told you, they will import some sturdy, love-making Ukrainians, future Ukrainians for you. All right, it does not make sense to see calls for Ukraine to lower the mobilization age. Let me show you. Right here. Presumably in order to draft more people, when we can see that previous announcement equipment is not arriving on time. Because of these delays, Ukraine lacks weapons to equip already mobilized soldiers. So because of those delays, that's what it is. That's what it is. My friends, these guys are criminals. To the last Ukrainians. And I told you, the next ones will be activated. The Poles, the Romanians, the Baltic states probably. But the Baltic states have what? Only Estonia is over there and is not going to go into St. Petersburg. So my friends, this is it. The next video that I will make will deal with Putin's warning, or however you want to call it. I'm going to do this because of that. This is the next step. And it's going to involve nuclear power level. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.